Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Layne, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff.
For those of us in and around the southeastern U.S., the meme that has gone around with Drew Carey and the host of Whose Line Is It Anyway does hold water. Welcome to the Southeast, where the seasons don't count and the forecasts are all made up. Kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway? Weather, improv, beautiful thing. Greetings, good morning. 7 after the top of the 10 o'clock hour in the Central Time Zone. 7 after 8 on the West Coast, and I would have done so much better on that if I hadn't botched up the punchline. Yeah. Beyond Ringside Shooters Gallery live on this 9th day of January 2016. First installment for us on the 2016 calendar year. Fast Eddie Layne live from Studio 1 at the announcer's desk. Live from the promoter's office over in the Peach State of Georgia. Shane Noles, how you doing, my friend?
Doing well. Happy to be on board for the first telecast of 2016.
Oh, last week, absolute insanity. And this year is off to a flying start in so many different ways. I guess we'll go ahead and take a look at the 800-pound gorilla that everybody is talking about. It doesn't matter if it's on religious broadcasting, QVC, Fox News Channel, CNN, ESPN. Everybody's talking about it. And it's tonight. I believe it is 10:59 Eastern, 9:59 Central is going to be the Powerball drawing?
That is correct.
You said $800 million. I will.
One person's life is going to change for the better or worse come 10:59 Eastern Time this evening.
It'll be me. I'm going over in a few minutes, and I've already got the game plan in place. I'm going to walk in. I'm going to go grab myself a bottle of water, a Green Monster, a Reese's Fast Break, walk up, and I'm going to buy my ticket, and I will buy the winning ticket. I am so sure of this that when I win that Powerball, I'm giving you $1 million just for fun.
Oh, I appreciate being on board. Is my $1 million portion going to be taxed like yours is?
If I got to pay the crap, so do you.
Okay, fair. I was going to say, you and I have both seen history has shown, maybe in a smaller level, at raffles, at wrestling promotions, sometimes the last ticket is the winning ticket.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I really have. And of course, for those of you who are going to try to jump in on this train tonight, remember, most Powerball retailers stop selling Powerball tickets 1 hour before the drawing. So if the drawing is at 10:59 Eastern Time, 9:59 Central, 7:59 Pacific Time, remember, get there at least an hour before, because when they shut down the computers, it's done. Knowing that it jumped $100 million in one day, do you think that it's going to make a last-minute push this afternoon, maybe around 2, 3 Eastern Time, to see if they get that one more jump?
Well, having been live on the spot, Eddie, where I live, tickets are going galore. I stopped at the convenience store maybe 30 minutes ago, and it took me 24 minutes to just pay for gas and some smokes because of the line that was already there this morning. So I can't imagine as more people get stirring around after lunch. Yeah, it's going to be pandemonium. And I remember the last time this happened, you had people driving from Gadsden, Pell City, around your neck of the woods, all the way to Georgia to purchase these things when it's that big.
You were talking about a meme that you saw a little while ago on the internet talking about the lottery.
Yeah, it said, showed a guy on his hands and knees in prayer, said, "Dear Lord, please let me win the lottery this evening to prove to others how much I don't need it."
I've often said, If I win this thing, I will be very clear, very concise, and very blunt. I will use that money for a very good cause. It'll take care of my bar tab and my student loans.
I saw another that said me after winning the lottery this evening, and it just showed a picture of a person in a bathtub with a red Solo cup full of sweet tea and some pizza rolls.
I think you're safer with the pizza rolls than you are with a Hot Pocket or something like that. Even though it's Hot Pocket Mutant Pizza Roll. There you go. Was doing some looking around this morning and actually over the last few days, noticing the simple fact that Ronda Rousey is not going to disappear. And for one, I am very thankful. She is signed to do the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. And one of the series of pictures that she's going to be in is going to be body paint.
I've seen where she was going to be in the swimsuit issue.
They've actually released a couple of photographs from the body paint shoot. And I'm just going to bring back one of my favorite words of all time. And somewhere down in Tallahassee, Florida, Ron Simmons is going, "Hey, damn it. Damn."
And kudos to her, like you said, for coming back into the spotlight. I noticed she's going to be hosting Saturday Night Live.
I don't know how that's going to fly. I really don't. She is a beautiful woman. She is a damn good fighter. She is a badass. But as far as hosting Saturday Night Live, I kind of wonder how she's going to be pigeonholed.
Yeah, I wonder, because I've seen her on like Jimmy Kimmel and the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. She's funny in spurts, but they're talking about fights, and that's 5-6 minute intervals, like you said, hosting a 90-minute program. We'll see.
Yeah, I've watched her do interviews outside of the sports community on different talk shows, but from that vantage point, it's just like I say, that's an entirely different animal. And for those who've never been a part of live entertainment, I mean, think about it like this. It's almost as revealing, I will say, as going out into the middle of the ring in a jam-packed audience and cutting a promo. Mm-hmm. With no scripting points whatsoever. Bullet points, yes. Or the promoter just comes up to you and says, "Here, talk about this for 4 minutes. Have fun. Put this over." It's like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, put this over. Fill some time.
There you go. You're nominated. You're voted. Yeah, you're going out there. Have fun. But hey, look, I wish all the and let's go back over this. I have no problem taking a short taxi ride to a few weeks ago. I'm the first one to sit back and say, I want to see the rematch between Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm. I think now that she understands the type of fighter that Holly Holm is, as if she didn't to begin with, but I think there was still a surprise element involved. Because I don't know how seriously Rousey took Holm. And based on the opening round, it really looked like Holly Holm caught her by surprise in a lot of ways. True?
Oh, absolutely. It plays into the, to me, it looked like Rocky III with Clubber Lang, the first fight with Rocky Balboa. That's exactly what I compared it to.
That is still a good movie. I won't even hold Hulk Hogan against that movie. Yeah.
Thunderlips, the ultimate male.
Yeah. Still funny after all these years, too.
It is.
Adrian, catch me!
Hey, I thought this was an exhibition.
We're showing how far you can fly over past the third row. Bye-bye, meatball. Now, and by the way, real quick before we go any further, thank you to everybody who's catching us this morning live on BeyondRingside.com, as well as through the Beyond Ringside Radio app, TuneIn Radio, Shoutcast, WinAmp, Ustream, very much open this morning as well. And, of course, through the replay side of life. It's been an arduous process because I've had so much going on. A lot of it is internal, much less external, but I've managed to get everything for the most part caught up on the media page at BeyondRingside.com. I have not been able to get all the links out, but I did a little bit of housekeeping, a whole lot of catching up, so definitely check it out. When you go to .com, look at the top right-hand area and you'll find the media click. Come on through to that page and you will find links to archived episodes and interviews from all of the Beyond Ringside family of shows. The word shows pops into my head. And there is another 800-pound gorilla, and I'm not saying this just because of sheer size. I thought it would be impossible for anyone to catch up to the number of turns that the Big Show, there's your play on words, actually has committed because on WWE TV. Awesome Kong is well on track to catch up to the Big Show as of this past week on Impact. First off, before I say anything else, congratulations to Impact Wrestling. A great debut this week on Pop TV. I'm going to sit back and say it looked and felt like a traditional televised wrestling show. They weren't trying to go overboard on one thing other than the World Title Tournament finale. I think they did a good job pacing. I think they did a good job with everything that was in play on the show. There were a couple of glitches here and there, but guess what? It's going to happen. There is no show that is perfect, even not Raw, SmackDown, Heat, Seat. It doesn't matter. There is no such thing as the perfect show. You can only do the best you can. Shane, how much of the show did you manage to catch? And did you catch what I'm talking about the Kong turn?
I did. I caught about an hour of it. I've got the rest to catch up on DVR, and that's what I was going to say. It's such a exciting time in pro wrestling right now. So much to cover this morning. So many headlines, and I mean, I can't remember the last time it was like this. But yeah, as far as Impact goes, one thing that made me feel good was they actually had the ring announcers live near ringside as opposed to being in some production truck.
Yeah, and that is a see, to me, that adds a whole lot to it. Because you get a certain vibe, and you know a lot of the stuff that they did as far as the announcing was post-production. Well, I'm going to go ahead and here's your curtain for the minute, kids. And note I did say for the minute. When you are doing commentary for a match or for a show, and you're doing it as it unfolds, in the heat of the moment, inside the venue, with the fans around you, the action 10 feet in front of you, you have a tendency to do a lot better job. Because even though you may not have seen it or heard about it, when you're going back and you're watching it unfold via tape or via recording, it's not the same. If you're in a sterile environment, such as a soundstage, watching a monitor, calling the action from there, it's totally different. That is why, and I'm speaking for the voice of experience here, because my home promotion, Global Championship Wrestling, I've done it both ways. I've done it live there at the venue. I've also gone back and watched and done it in post. And the pressure for me of doing it first run is a beautiful thing. I actually screw up more when I have no pressure on me than I do when I have pressure on me. I mean, Shane, you've been in that boat, right?
I have, yeah. With Pierce Productions, I agree. There's nothing like calling the match live, feeding off the crowd. You're live, you're in the moment, as opposed to 2 days or a week later sitting in the house, calling it post-production, like you said, with the AC running. It's just a different environment.
Yeah, there's something about being able to call it live in the middle of the summer and dropping 5 pounds of water weight per match. I have to say this. A couple of months ago when I was working with you over at Peach State, and Pierce and I were doing the call, there was a family sitting directly in front of us, and if you know the way that everything's lined up, you got that one real row of chairs directly in front of the broadcast, in front and in between the rails and the broadcast table. And this one woman was I guess we just had her befuddled. Either that or she was hearing some of the things that I was saying. It's like, really? Because I roller coaster the moment. I have fun with it. I just go with it. And she turned around when we went to intermission and she said, "You're doing this for DVD, right?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, we are." She said, "I heard some of the things you said. I'm going to have to buy this DVD just to see how well it translates onto there." She said, "I want to hear if you're as funny on the DVD as you are live." And it's like, okay, thank you for buying the DVD.
those in Section A are getting a bonus to get to hear Fast Eddie Layne live and in the moment.
And matter of fact, I believe the date is next Saturday, right?
It is January 16th, Peach State's first event of the new year, with a headlined by a tag team tournament, 8 tag teams doing battle for the vacant PWA tag team titles. And I don't want to use the word vacant, maybe upheld or possession is in question, but the PWA Heritage title, I'm not sure who it belongs to at the moment. Sal Renaro and Jimmy Rave will meet for that title next Saturday.
I'm looking forward to that. Had an opportunity to speak with Jimmy recently, and he talked about the match, that the first match that took place. Because for those who missed Christmas Chaos, it was originally slated to be Tommy Too Much and Jimmy Rave, and I heard there was a change in this, right?
Yeah, Tommy Too Much was unable to make the event. I don't know what Jimmy covered, but just to run it down, to open the event, Jimmy Rave is out. Tommy Too Much music hits. America Strong comes down the aisle, whispers in the ring announcer Jason Boyd's ear, and Jason announces Tommy will not be here, but America has agreed to take his spot. As soon as they're about to lock up, Sal Renaro runs down to ringside, enters the ring, tries to jump Jimmy Rave, is thrown over the top rope, but grabs the microphone and makes a valid point. Jimmy Rave, I'm the only person in this company that has not been pinned or submitted in the year 2015. So you're looking at the number one contender. Jimmy puts the belt on the line. Very good match. A ref bump ensued on Madman Mason. I know, crazy, right? In the opening match, that's the kind of crap that happens at each state. No run-ins in the opening match. There were 4. America tried to get involved. Tyson Dean came out and kept her at bay. Simon Sermon is out, pummeling Jimmy. I chase him away with a chair. And then shades of, I believe, Bret Hart and Roddy Piper. It may have been British Bulldog. You could help me with that, where one gentleman has the other trying to do a back suplex. The guy that is getting suplexed, Sal, pushes his feet off the second turnbuckle. They sprawl backwards. The second ref that had came in, Terry Hudgens, to restore order. He's on one side. Mason had come to on the other side. Both gentlemen make the pin. One raises Sal's hand. One raises Jimmy. Oh. Confusion is there. Sal Renaro takes the belt, sprints to his respective locker room, and says possession is 9/10 of the law. Now, and I think that's something I couldn't help but think, resigning as commissioner back on October 3rd, that would have been a spot where it was like, okay, I would have had to make a decision, but with Peach State going the way of let the boys be the boys, I'm curious to see, this is something, there's no control as far as any greater authority to make a ruling on this, at least for the current time.
Quite a precarious circumstance you find yourself in on that one. Now, loaded question. I know, of course, he asks the question knowing that the answer is going to be what he expects it to be in this circumstance. But he asks it anyway because it is a shameless shill opportunity. Shane, when's the DVD going to be available?
For January 16th?
Yeah, no.
Or
Christmas Chaos.
Oh, Christmas Chaos. It'll be available next Saturday, January 16th, for the first time, in person, live at the VFW Fairgrounds. And then concluding after that event, you can order it on PeachStateWrestlingAlliance.com.
Now, in our next segment, I'd like to go and hold up for a couple minutes before we go over the full card for the 16th, if that's okay.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, you've already brought up the fact that the Heritage title will be on the line, but you've got some great tag teams that are going to be participating on the 16th in Tag Team Turmoil, and we'll definitely want to take a little bit more in-depth look at them, and since we're 5 away from the bottom of the hour break, I want to go ahead and hold up on that.
Sure.
Speaking of tag teams, before we get into it, like I said, we're going to talk about Tag Team Turmoil in the next segment, but I want to go ahead and bring this up. If you manage to see it on Impact, I don't really understand why they went the route that they did. I'm appreciative of the fact that the Tennessee Cowboy James Storm is back in TNA. Hey, look, when the deal was done and he showed up at NXT, I did cartwheels because I felt finally he gets that stage. But with Pop TV, and him making the impromptu return to save Bobby Roode, lo and behold, I'm sitting back going, wait a minute. There is a lot to be said for spontaneity, but by the same token, handling the spontaneity is a totally different animal. And the comments that Storm made in the build-up, some seemed like they were roller coaster on track. Others seemed like they were not the... There's no such thing as a perfect promo. All you can do is try. And it just seemed like a couple of things didn't fit. Now, I do appreciate the line in particular where he said, even my granny said, that ain't you, boy. When the upper generation of the family says it to you, guess what? They got a point. But it seemed like it took forever to lead into the Bobby Roode side of it. And then, you see where I'm going with this, right?
Oh, I do, yeah.
Feel free to interrupt and come on in.
I don't know. I'm right there with you. And one thing you spoke of, no show is perfect, no promo is perfect. But I will say, gosh, it was a little disheartening to hear the beer money theme played ahead of time. That just telegraphed to me, I don't know how many people caught that was what was going to be happening.
Well,
and even the announcers mentioned that was the wrong entrance.
Okay, wait a minute. Then you caught something that I missed because I didn't. I kind of was not in the room and I forgot to rewind. They played the beer money intro for Bobby Roode when he was coming down to the ring.
Yeah, it was like right for the commercial break or right when he came out. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it played for like a good 3 or 4 seconds.
Oh,
cut.
God.
There's Josh Matthews saying that was the wrong entrance, and then they just went on to something else.
No, I missed that part. I genuinely did. I missed that. Damn it. I hate it when that happens. Because I would have been doing a backflip going, oh, boy. And then... Because I've had that happen before. I've been the victim of doing that before. Running music, and it's like you accidentally, it's like, okay, fine, I want to get this in place, get this in place, get this in place, get this in place. And then all of a sudden, you just like brain fart it and click, oh, crap, oh, switch.
Oh, I can tell you, last night at the WrestleMerica event, which I want to touch on a little bit later, that happened, AJ Styles in the main event. It was not the Bullet Club music. I don't know whose music it was, but it played for a good 8 seconds. You talk about confusion among 450 people.
I understand that concept. Like I said, I've had that happen to me running sound before. Oh, God. It's like, this is the first time that it happened to me, I think was like the 3rd time I've ever used the phrase, you know something, after looking in the mirror, I think Max Factor could sell a whole bunch more makeup if they could ever find that color of red that I had on my face that night. But, oh, Lord, do me a favor.
I've also been on the other aspect, running sound for another show, and it's time for the ring announcer is the following contest, and you hit the music, and either the laptop or the mixer just decided to freeze for a good 6 seconds, which feels like 60 minutes as the crowd's all looking at you going, hit it, and you're like, I hit it, damn it, it's not working. Yeah, and then finally, order is restored.
Yeah, I've had that happen before, and the thing about it is, it's been the way that it's been is a case point scenario that I've had it happen with computers. A partner of mine has had it happen with a tablet. It used to happen with cassette decks and CD players. If there was the perfect methodology for running music, I would have found it by now. But all we can do is roll with the punches and roll with the time. It's bad when you actually decide. And I say, I've never, in the entire time that I've been doing this, I have never done it via turntable. That is the only medium that I have not used. I've used cassette, I've used CD, I've used mini disc. Thank you, Sony. I missed that product so badly. And from there, it's a case of, yeah, I've done it on laptop, desktop, MP3 player, da-da-da-da-da. Something's going to happen with every format. There is no doubt in my mind. All you can do is the best you can do, and when it's all said, done, and over with, pray to God the credit card holds up for a bar tab later in the night. Folks, tell you what, we're going to take the bottom of the hour break real quick. We will be back. The Shooters Gallery continues right after this on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Country Jack, Corey Hollis, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
This is Evan Ginsberg, associate producer of the movie The Wrestler, host of Legends Radio and Legends TV, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motormouth, Fast Eddie Layne, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Larry Goodman, GWH News and Notes, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
This is Dr. Tom Pritchard, and if you want to listen to the best in professional wrestling, get locked in to Beyond Ringside.
On a topsy-turvy Saturday morning, welcome back into the Shooter's Gallery. Fast Eddie Layne over here. Shane Noles over in the Peach State. What's up, brother?
I'm going to say Shane Noles over there.
That too. One of these days, like I said, and the ninth thing that I'm going to do when I win this Powerball is I'm going to build a studio somewhere between the two of us.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, really. Picture
the Beyond Ringside complex.
Yeah, the compound. Studio One, the compound. Picture the man cave on steroids. There would be so much stuff. If I clear out my storage of all the gimmicks that I've got in there that I've collected, and just, God, if I had back some of the ones that I let get away from me. Oh, boy. Robert Cosper on assignment this week. I do believe he's back in the witness protection program. I think that's the easy way to do it. Something that irks the living hell out of me. Or as we would normally mention it on the To Be Determined show starring the Wicked Nemesis on Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 Pacific. Things that don't need to be in pro wrestling, or things that make you go, what? I'm watching social media as we do this, and just before we come back in from break, I'll go and put this one out there. Gerwick.net, who, what, how, when, where, what, yes, GERWECK. I do not advocate for their site. I don't promote their website. I'm just mentioning by name for a reason. A post that just recently went up says, quote, there has been at least some talk within WWE about breaking up the Dudley Boys and having Bubba Ray Dudley alter his gimmick to be more like his Bully Ray character that was a hit in TNA. If you are in the shoes of Vince McMahon, Shane, and you see something like this pop up on the rag sites, how pissed are you right now?
Oh, very much so. I mean, I know there was a time when Vince himself would speak to Dave Meltzer from, like, say, the Wrestling Observer, a very credible newsletter. I know that's basically like an oxymoron to some, but and then there came a point where Vince forbid his writers and creative staff from having conversation with anyone like that, including Dave, who Vince himself had given the scoop to for years. But yeah, if that is still a mandated order and something like that gets out, I'm certainly trying to find the root of the problem, because it's so hard, as you know, nowadays, even on the independent wrestling level, to stay ahead of the fans,
right,
within your own promotion on things that are going on in social media on a much larger global scale. Even looking at that, we fans feel like they know everything that's transpired with the possible Bullet Club acquisition by WWE, and a part of me misses that tuning in and being hit with that. And if that is something they were thinking about, splitting up the Dudley Boys, first thought, A, too soon. Haven't even captured the tag team titles, but B, makes me wonder with the rash of injuries if they're not looking to move Bully Ray up into more of a main event program.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the last time they did that, Devon was the one to get crapped on and under. But see, hold on. Let me rephrase this. Let me stop there. When they split the Dudleys the last time around, neither character genuinely worked. I liked Devon in the role of Brother Devon. I liked Bully being this. They kept trying to make Bubba. Go figure. For years, I wouldn't stop calling him Bubba. Now I can't get away from the Bully bit. It just screw it.
Bully Bubba.
Yeah, really. Bubbly.
Or BB Dudley.
Yeah, Bubbly Dudley. Ooh, wait a minute. That would be the stripper cousin.
Bubbly Dudley.
Bubbly Dudley.
He works at the Claremont Lounge in Atlanta, Georgia.
Where strippers go to die. Well, you could have said Follies. Look, when I lived in Atlanta and I'd first discovered Follies, I did not realize that there were nudie bars that had kitchens built into them. And lo and behold, Follies was doing a T-bone steak special for lunch. And it's like, what? And yes, kids, we're talking nudie bar on the show. Okay, leave me alone. And I did not realize, I'm sitting back going, how good can this steak be? I mean, I'm not going to denigrate Follies because I've been in there. I've always had a good time every time I've gone. But the first time that I realized that a strip joint had a kitchen in it, and years ago, this is not 2 weeks ago, this is more over a decade ago, and then some. Probably over 20 years ago. And lo and behold, it's a case of steak? Okay. And this is where longtime listeners are going to remember the name The Man Called Evil, Adam Smith, from Gen 1 Beyond Ringside. He called me one day. He was at a tattoo convention on the perimeter north in Atlanta. I think he was staying at the Sheridan. And he went over to Mardi Gras. And I am not going to utilize the exact phrase that he said. I'll do it off air. I'll tell you, Shane, just remind me. But he had never been to a adult entertainment facility which had a kitchen either. And he calls me up and goes, I'm in heaven. I said, what do you mean? Where are you at? He said, I'm at Mardi Gras. Dude, they have food and it's not bad. It's like, there's a phrase in here you want to use and I know what it's going to be. He said, yeah. And he used the phrase and I couldn't stop laughing for 20 minutes. And I'll tell you off air. Matter of fact, folks, this is where I'm going to be mean. 3. You don't have to plug your ears. Yeah. I will use that phrase on Wednesday night on To Be Determined. But from there, seriously, Bubbly Dudley. I've never thought of that, but just tongue twister finally got me.
I was going to say, before we close the book on that with the nudie bars, some of the best advice I got 10 years ago, I won't say best advice, but advice that stuck out in my head was a guy that said, don't sleep on the buffet at the Gentleman's Club.
Ooh, especially not if it's peel and eat shrimp. And I'm going to burn for that one. No, but seriously. Now, the thing about it is, I said Bubbly Dudley, and the first thing that popped into my head was that cover of the Raw magazine when it was Bubba Ray and Devon with Stacy Keibler, and all that Stacy was wearing was the tag team title belts. I'm sitting back going, that's Bubbly Dudley right there, kids.
Bubbly Dudley.
George Clooney, you let that get away. It's really weird because I go back and it's like, during that era, when Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson were the two hottest women going in the world of professional wrestling in the WWE, or F at that time, there was the big debate about which one would you kidnap and take to, or marry and take to Hawaii? And that was one of the most divisive issues that people could come up with as far as the testosterone race goes, because you had some guys who were avid Stacy Keibler fans, and you had those that were rabid Tori Wilson fans. It's almost, and they've got like 8 other women on the roster, but the big debate was between Tori and Stacy.
I was going to say, in my own personal vantage point from that time period, Trish Stratus was the one woman I said I would hop the guardrail for and go to jail at a WWE event.
You and I are on such opposite sides of the fence on that one. I've always felt that Trish, okay, look, and I know I'm going to get hate mail. I don't care. At Fast Eddie Layne on Twitter, Layne, spell it right. I have never been a big Trish Stratus fan. And I just felt that she was overhyped and overrated. The first time that she came out with everything in place, when she was doing the valet bit especially, and lo and behold, she was wearing a push-up bra to where she could have used her boobs for earmuffs. I mean, it's like, you just want to set a plate of hot wings right there and just make it a night? And
Shane's over here going, please, yes.
Now, I will sit back and say this, in the big debate between Trish and Lita, I am Lita all the way. Trish was more eye candy, I get that. Lita was a badass. Lita was that one where if a girl that I was seeing at the time said, I want somebody to train me to be a WWE diva, I'd be on the horn begging Lita to take the reins on this. Because I think that her athleticism, her skill, and she didn't have to talk much. She really didn't.
No, being a part of Team Extreme with Matt and Jeff Hardy, none of them really got on the microphone a lot during that time.
I mean, it's just... But... And it's really rare. And here's the sad part about this. You always find you have that one on the roster or in the database that is just able to blow away 4-star matches time after time. 4, 4.5, 5-star matches. Where a lot of people, and this is where WWE gave themselves the knock. Because they've never really run too heavily deep in the women's division on the main televised product. This is one of the reasons why fans in 2014, 2015, and now 2016 have been jumping up and down vehemently about the women that were down in NXT. Banks, Charlotte, Bayley, even Last Kicker. Those 4 right off the top were doing, with the exception of Natty Neidhart and AJ Lee at the time, they were, I'll even give Paige that nod, especially, but she was floater in that particular regard, back and forth between NXT and WWE until the full-time switch. The NXT women's division was kicking the main roster's ass. Why do you think, I mean, other than the obvious, I'm going to ask the question anyway. Why do you genuinely feel that is? Is it a preset stereotype that Vince has against on the main roster?
I think, other than Trish and Lita, that feud in the ladies or divas division, over the course of the last decade, what else really stood out as far as a feud? I mean, Gail Kim, there were some good wrestlers scattered across the division, but there didn't seem to be that money feud or that significant program. And it was getting to the point, even with male rosters, to me, where I'm looking at the way Triple H is having these guys pushed and these gals pushed and trained and developed at NXT is different than what I'm seeing on the main roster. And now, over the course of the last 16 months, we've seen a lot of that NXT roster integrated into the WWE roster, which to me has made the WWE roster seem different, a little better. Especially on the diva side.
Yeah. I mean, and lo and behold, it's just one of those simple cases. That is why so many people loved the Knockouts division of TNA Wrestling for the longest time, because before the Hogan Bischoff run, which I had a great conversation with Evan Ginsberg a couple of weeks ago on Back to Basics, and we brought up that concept, Knockouts versus the Divas division, and that, to me, that is still a played out. That is still.
I want to interject and just say this too. This came to me. One thing that shows a difference in the seriousness, maybe with the Divas Revolution or the strength of the Divas on the roster of WWE, it used to be par for the course that we would see some sort of gimmicked match or a panty match or a lingerie match just for eye candy. We don't see that anymore. And I'm actually here to say kudos. I want to see women wrestle.
Yeah, I mean, look, and before anybody goes off the rails on this one, let me go ahead and jump in and say this, because, you know, you're speaking to two, like I said, we just got through talking about the nudie bar a minute ago, so you can't question the man card, okay? You can't try to pull the man card when you sit back and say, when it comes to wrestling, we want to see women wrestle. Meet you at the Pink Pony in 2 hours. And actually, make it 4 hours. I'm taking my dad to lunch. I was going to cover that in last calls. Yeah, of course, this is where I go ahead and stick my foot straight up into the sky and say, kick a cloud. My father and I are going to go at one of his favorite places, God help us all. My father turns 85 years of age tomorrow, January the 10th. So I'm going to talk about that.
Oh,
yeah.
Congrats, Mr. Powell. Yes, sir.
Yes. One of the few times I don't mind the sheet name being used. There we go. That's why it's on my Facebook friends page, by the way. It's like, what? That's my real last name, kids. I've been Fast Eddie Layne for over 30 years, but out of respect for my family, I actually incorporated my last name onto my Facebook friends page. And if I still haven't met you, then I'm still not approving the friend request. Go to Fast Eddie Layne.
Oh, speaking of memes, there's a great one I saw with Denzel Washington had the cigarette in his mouth, teeth gnashed to the side like Clint Eastwood, and it's like, you send me a friend request. We have no mutual friends. Who sent you?
There you go. The FBI, Homeland Security. Oh, and I have to do this one real quick. Like I said, I normally would save all this for the final segment of the program and the shameless plugs and last calls. She who is always referred to as her. And I'll just go ahead and pop the cork on this one, kids. Yes, I am still legally married. Absolutely insane person has put up with me for the longest time. And we refer to each other as her and him. We are estranged. We're both strange, too. Leave it alone. Actually, just got her, Cindy, just got her official transcripts in from where she has recently completed her master's degree in Homeland Security and criminal justice. They had a virtual ceremony through the college campus because it was an online course of study, but she has been given the invitation to come walk. Graduated, master's program, 4.0 average. Hi there, how you doing? Good to see you. They were asking her if she wanted to go for the doctorate. I said, tell you what, you tell them you'll go for the doctorate if they'll forgive the student debt from the master's degree. You eliminate that, and I'll go for the doctorate. But they did the congratulatory video thing where they scrolled the names in a virtual walk ceremony, and they had her they had her name coming up last. And I said, "Damn, they put you in the go home position." Damn. And having been around me all these years, she understood what that meant. She looked at me like, "I'm running with that." I said, that's why I said it. Run with it. They put you in the go-home spot. Cool, you're in the main event. So
you should have tested her and been like, they put you in the gorilla position.
Oh, she would have actually come back on that. She would have, because she's actually worked with me on some live events before, so she was she's all familiar with it. She has a clue. More than I like to admit. Speaking of admit, I'm shifting topics, keeping it on general knowledge for a second there. The question was asked yesterday, and I had no idea. It took me completely by surprise. Station I listened to here locally in Birmingham, Alabama, WJOX-FM, I'm 94.5. I was listening to the Roundtable, LT Dunaway and Brown. And in their Trash on the Table segment, they asked the question, what is the number one movie Netflix all time? And I'm sitting back running numbers through my head, and it's like, it's got to be anything. It's got to be da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. And I just started racking off movies in my mind.
Are we talking about streaming or the DVD, the mail-in orders?
Period.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
The Blind Side.
Number one, and I'm going to go ahead and sit back and say, let's take it back over to the streaming because I don't have the numbers for the DVD side in front of me. So let's go ahead and stick straight with streaming through .com. What do you think it is?
Could you give me a year on the film?
Sooner than you think. It's not Star Wars. It's not anything. It's in that genre.
Nothing in a Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings type.
Believe it or not, no. You will not believe this when I tell you.
I tell you this. Could you give me the genre of the film?
Comedy.
Dumb and Dumber?
No. It has been released through all media sources that the official number one movie on Netflix and the biggest movie in most watched movie in Netflix history is officially Adam Sandler's The Ridiculous Six.
Oh my gosh!
Just recently released on Netflix. Only about a few short weeks ago.
Recently, yeah.
I said sooner than you think. I really did, and this took me by such a huge. It's like shock to the system. Somebody just stuck a taser to the back of my head. Actually, that felt good. But
I could make the joke. People are already paying for Netflix, so they're going to watch the Adam Sandler film instead of going to the theaters to watch Pixels or Jack and Jill, some of these other flops he's made released to theaters recently.
But lo and behold, and of course, remember, Sandler signed, I believe it was a 4-movie deal. If my notes, if my memory serves, I don't have all the numbers directly in front of me. But
I think you're right. It was a 4 or 5 picture deal, yeah.
And lo and behold, according to the sources from Netflix and all the different sources that I've read online, and what they mentioned yesterday during the roundtable, The Ridiculous Six is the most watched and number one ranked movie for period for Netflix. And I'm sitting back going, that makes perfect sense. And you have to think about this because with all of the recent success that they've had with their exclusivity deals on a lot of different fronts, Netflix continues to grow. And to me, that's impressive that they've managed to take it from a niche all the way into full-scale mainstream invasion, including the production and distribution of original entertainment. I give credit where credit is due. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, a lot of good shows on Netflix, the original content, House of Cards, Orange is the New Black. I can't remember the name of the comedy with Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, but I watched a few episodes. Very good. Wet Hot American Summer, a prequel series to the 2001 comedy film, and then now the one that I've seen grabbing all the headline over the last week and a half, the How to Make a Murderer original series.
I've had Netflix, and believe it or not, I normally watch something on there about once a week. About the same time that I watch, just after, either before or after I watch NXT on the WWE Network. Now, lo and behold, I've got to sit back and wonder how jealous Vince is because their little tagline for the WWE Network was just like Netflix, only better. Well, guess what? Netflix just kicked your ass with The Ridiculous Six, Vince.
And still cheaper, $7.99 as opposed to $9.99.
See, therein lies the problem because I'm going to sit back and say for the WWE Network, I would genuinely say $9.99 is the right price. There is a part of me that genuinely still says that $9.99 was too low.
Right, $14.99 for some reason struck me.
Yeah, same with me because especially of the pay-per-views moving over to the network. And I'm going to throw this one out there, kids. And like I said, for everything we're talking about, we'd love to see and hear your feedback at Beyond Ringside over on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside. And yes, we're still on MySpace. Love to hear what your perspectives are. With considering the retail deal, and you know that Vince and WWE want the numbers on the network. But lo and behold, when you've got people who are willing to pay $44.49 for a 3-hour pay-per-view from WWE, Why are you going to denigrate those people and call them crazy when you when they're obviously willing to spend more money? Why do you call them nuts? Why do you insult the people who are spending money on your product if they don't want to spend the $10 on the network, and they'd still rather spend the $49 on the pay-per-view? Shane?
Look, I'll put it this way. In a smaller scale for Peach State Wrestling Alliance, am I baffled sometimes? The people that actually attend PWA events but don't buy the DVDs at the show for the flat $10, you order them online for $15 and pay the shipping and handling, that's your business. I'm not going to bash you for it. In my own little mind, I could say, you could pick it up cheaper and save the shipping, pal, at the events that you attend, but that's their prerogative, however they want to go about it. I'm not going to bash them.
Absolutely crazy. Staring at the top of the hour, I'm going to go ahead and, when we come back, I'm going to hold the music bed. I'm not going to do it this time. Yeah, I know. When we come back in hour number 2, number of things we want to touch on, including the updated lineup for the Peach State Wrestling Alliance live event set for 1 week from today. Chris Jericho making his return again. And, of course, we're going to be weighing in on the NFL playoffs wildcard weekend going on in just a few hours, as well as Monday night, this little football game over in Arizona. I think you might have heard of the two teams that are being involved. One of them has an elephant for a mascot. The other has a tiger.
I've heard of these two participants, yes. And I'll throw my own little cliffhangers out there. A significant injury to the WWE main roster, as well as perhaps an influx of new talent.
Hang tight. Hour 2 kicks off right after this on Beyond Ringside Shooters Gallery on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is the voice of excellence at Excellent Professional Wrestling at Not the Tool Man, Tim Taylor. Usually I'm locked into Excellent Professional Wrestling, but now you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Monroe, Fast Eddie Layne, as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
The board is war, and you are locked into Beyond Ringside.
Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
I'm addictive. I'm expensive. I'm Byron Wilkine. And ladies, Big Daddy Yum Yum is locked in to Beyond Ringside.
2010, after 2 years of constant bullying, 11-year-old Ty Smalley took his own life. In the past 7 years, more than 55,000 children have taken their own lives due to bullying. That's 22 youth suicides every day. Stand for the Silent is a grassroots organization that educates people about the harsh reality of bullying and the devastation it causes, and they need your help. Visit standforthesilent.org to learn how you can get involved and help us to save lives.
I stand for the silent. I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I'm Roddy Piper, and we stand for the silent.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bill Darrens, and you're watching, you're listening, you're experiencing Beyond Ringside, and you are a better person for it. Trust me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Smart Rage from Wrestle Rage Radio, coming to you from the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Join myself and my co-host, Super Stan Grubb, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern as we present Wrestle Rage Radio, where we rant and rave on everything in the world of pro wrestling. Sometimes we'll have a guest. Sometimes it'll be just me and Stan BSing about the sport that we love, pro wrestling. Check us out. Tune in Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, only on the Beyond Ringside Network.
This is Awesome Austin Creed, the smartest man in this industry called pro wrestling, the valedictorian of this business. You are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
All right. Hour 1 of the books, hour 2 underway. Welcome back into the Shooters Gallery on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. 7 minutes after the top of the hour on the live site on this 9th day of January 2016. All right, loaded question. We're 9 days into the year. How many times have you written 2015 on something yet?
None. Unbelievable, because I seem to be, the theme is memes this morning, seemingly to me, but I saw one January 1st that said me for the next 6 months, writing 2015, crossing out, writing a 6, and I said, you know what, damn it, I'm not going to let that happen to me this year.
Thank you to everybody tuning in through the live site on BeyondRingside.com, all the way across the board. Of course, don't forget we're on Ustream as well, TuneIn Radio. And for those listening on the replay side, thank you for downloading. Thank you for listening. Don't forget Apple users, you can catch us on Downcast, also on Podomatic, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, all of the above in more ways than I've got active brain cells. Of course, if I'd have stopped at one, that would have been more active brain cells than I actually have.
I was going to say, speaking of brain cells, before anyone thinks I was putting myself over for not writing it, I have caught myself a couple of times in the last 9 days, though, referring to earlier this year. No, okay. In 2015, this happened.
Yeah. Giving credit and kudos and congratulations at the People's Choice Awards 2016. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson picked up the Favorite Cable TV Actor Award. And it's funny because I looked at the words People's Choice Awards and my brain, considering what all he's done in the last few years, my brain wanted to superimpose the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. And it's like, no, this is the People's Choice Awards, something even less meaningful. And yeah, it reminds me of an interview with Burt Reynolds from years ago. It's like the interviewer asked him about awards. He said, well, I've got a ton of People's Choice Awards. It's like, yeah, you do. even he has fun with that concept. But
I wonder if he won some for his sitcom Evening Shade.
Ooh, wow. It'd be like Shatner picking it up for T.J. Hooker, but which actually wasn't horrible.
No, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed some Adrian's Med and Heather Locklear back in the day.
How can you not enjoy Heather Locklear? The only way you don't enjoy Heather Locklear is if she's not on the show.
Was she on? Was it Dynasty or Knots Landing?
Thought it was Dynasty.
Okay.
Because there was everybody wanted to play the name game. Heather Locklear, Heather Thomas, both blonde. That's about it.
Oh, the days of Falcon Crest and Dallas, the primetime soaps.
We got 2 words for you: Victoria Principal. Yeah. And then after season 6 occurred, everybody realized what it's like to wake up and smell the coffee. Still can't believe that. Still can't believe that after all these years. You really played that card on us, kids. Wow. And they never could figure out a way to top Who Shot JR. That was still the ultimate cliffhanger.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. With Bobby Ewing, it was all a dream. Oh, I feel a lot of people were just so down on that.
That was just horrible. But
he's in the shower. It was all a dream.
Yeah, really. At least by episode 2 of that season, he would have had run out of hot water in the shower. So it was like, man. But coming back to Wayne for a second, picked up the People's Choice Award as the Favorite Cable TV Actor for his role in the HBO series Ballers. He also serves as the show's executive producer. To which I'm going to sit back and I've watched a couple of episodes of Ballers and actually have enjoyed it. So for those who have not had a chance to catch it yet, I do believe you can catch it through HBO.com. You can catch it on not in demand, but through their on-demand service. So if you have traditional cable, I know to my knowledge, I may be wrong because I don't deal with Dish and Direct. That's me. I don't think they do a lot of on-demand, right then and there stuff. But I know that I use Charter, and they do, and their on-demand service is actually pretty good. And they have a great variety of different networks that they work with on that. So I've managed to catch a couple of episodes, thoroughly happy with it. Great job all the way across the board. Just, it seems like a sports version of the series Entourage to a great degree.
Especially having some NFL players in and around the show. And I have to bring this up. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was on Inside the NBA with Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, and Charles Barkley, interviewing him about Ballers. Another show I think he has on TNT, and it was so funny when they were bringing this up about pro wrestling, and Charles Barkley said, "There ain't nobody that can beat you in wrestling." And Kenny Smith said, "Or wrestling," and that just got The Rock so tickled. He's like, "Yeah, Charles, that's some of that Leeds, Alabama coming out in here right there."
Barkley is one of a kind, and known him for years. I mean, we're not bosom buddies or anything like that. We've spoken on more than one occasion. Barkley is always a trip, and probably one of the better interviews out there because he is one of those that is the genuine type that will just let it rip because he can. Yeah. And he knows on what side his bread is buttered. Barkley has never been one for the politically correct sound bites. So if you're,
I was going to say, he's not afraid to shy away from the controversial statement and stand by it.
Oh no, he will he'll own it. He'll say it and he'll own it, plain and simple. Want to go ahead and shoot on over? Well, tell you what, I'm gonna save the lineup for Seg 4 because I want to be able to. I want to go ahead and play with this one for a second. Let's go ahead and look at it real quick. Monday night, the game finally. And it doesn't seem like it's been that long ago, but it just seems like, oh my God, football season's almost over. Technically only have a couple of weeks of genuine football left. But let's look at it. This coming Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, live. And it will be the Alabama Crimson Tide, the Southeastern Conference champion, number 2 ranked team, taking on the number 1 ranked team, Clemson Tigers, ACC champions. When they made the announcement during the fourth quarter of the Bama-Michigan State semifinal that Alabama was going to open as a 7-point favorite, I'm sitting back going, number 1, couldn't you wait till the end of the game to make this? Number 2, at least finish the game that's currently playing before you bury everybody else.
I could make the joke that game was over at halftime, but...
Well, remember, it was only 10-0 at halftime. That was still well within reach. And I'm going to go ahead and be controversial for a hot second because I'm going to be explicitly honest. I got a sick charge out of knowing the fact that Connor Cook got dumped on his backside 5 times.
I'm sure Archie Griffin did as well.
Thank you. You knew why I was laughing. You knew why I was laughing. And for those who for those who've been living under a rock, this has been my point of contention. Look, I like the Michigan State Spartans. I have nothing against their program. For those who have known me for years, I go back to the days when Magic Johnson was playing for their basketball team, for the Spartans. Now, after the championship game, when Connor Cook was being presented by the only 2-time Heisman Award winner, Archie Griffin, he was being presented the MVP for the game and basically blew past Griffin and snubbed him in my book. I'm sitting back going, yeah, there's payback. Somebody upstairs likes me and they see this coming. So that's where it goes with me. I am a huge fan of respect. I am a huge, especially when somebody, okay, if you say you deserve it, that's different from somebody else saying you deserve it. You can bestow your own virtues all day long. Trust me, I know, I do. I'm a self-centered, one-dimensional, shallow egomaniac. I don't care what you say. I wonder if that would work well as the title for my autobiography. Egocentric? No, I'm egocentral. Ooh. Write this one down real quick. Use that in promo for later. # never waste a heel turn. And thanks, Wick. That's one. But no, in all sincerity, coming back to it, this coming Monday night, I have this pegged as a dogfight in the truest sense of the word. Dabo has got the troops lined up and set and ready to go. Nick Saban has got the Alabama Crimson Tide in a good place. I think that with the high energy offense that Clemson utilizes, I think that they're going to go head to head with the front seven for Alabama's defense and make a very serious game out of it. Clemson's defense is nothing to laugh at either. And I think that Jake Coker and the Alabama offense, they're going to have their work cut out for them. You don't get to 14-0 by accident. You can bluff your way into 1-0. You can't bluff your way into 14-0. Not even if you're doing a Patsy cakewalk schedule. Something's going to happen sooner or later. That's why when the line opened at 7, I'm sitting back going, A, that's too much, in addition to too soon. And if I have to pick right now, I'm saying 24-21. It's not going to be a high-scoring game, but it's going to be enough of a game. And this could genuinely come down to, and yep, folks, you've heard me use this line before, and it's rare when I'm wrong when I say this. This could come down to the last play of the game. Because I think that both teams are geared. They've had a chance to watch film. They've had a chance to study tendencies. They've had a chance to really just to get out there with their practice squads. Now, it's hard to really emulate and duplicate the front seven for Alabama's defense. You can try. But I think this is going to be a lot closer. I think it's going to be a field goal, maybe less. Shane, your thoughts overall?
Overall, I just want to say, for anyone who has listened to this program throughout the fall season, you know I've spoke of this. I wanted to see Clemson and Alabama, whether it be in the semifinals or the final, and I'm so delighted that we're getting this matchup. And I've heard, not only in my own life, but also on social media and even on television programs, just trying to take away the merits of both teams. I'll look at it like some people say Alabama shouldn't be in there. They lost to Ole Miss. I'm like, well, how long are you going to hang on to that? And the fact of the matter is, since that Ole Miss game, Alabama has given up 11 touchdowns in 11 games. So you tell me who's worthy. On the flip coin, I've heard Clemson's not all that good. And what you alluded to, I'm like, kiddos, there's nobody else sitting at 14-0. They've been number one for a long time. They were number one in every single college football playoff, the rankings. How could you not say these are the two best teams playing? And I'm like you. We know that the only thing that has seemed to give Nick Saban's teams problems in Alabama has been the dual threat quarterback. Watson is certainly one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And like you spoke of, everyone seems to always try to pick a blowout. They thought that with Auburn and Florida State. Didn't happen. Texas, USC 10 years ago, one of the greatest college football games I've ever seen. Definitely wasn't a blowout. A hell of a game. So I think we're in line with that. There's a lot of speed and a lot of street. Like you said, the front seven of Alabama, no one pales in comparison. I picked Alabama to defeat Michigan State 31-17. I picked Clemson, I said, by the slightest of margins over Oklahoma. It wound up a little more than I thought it would be. I'm going to say Clemson 31-24, and I'm right there with you. It's going to come down to the final drive of the game. I've got it pegged at 24 all, and I think Watson maybe scores. I'm just going to say with 51 seconds remaining, Bama gets the football back, gets very close, but is not able to close the deal, and I think it's going to be one of the better national title games we've seen in the last decade. I really do. I think there's enough on both sides, and that added element, Dabo Swinney being a Bama guy.
Yep.
And for Clemson, this is the fruition of his program. They've turned out some great NFL players, Martavius Bryant, C.J. Stiller, who's the gentleman that just got drafted by the Falcons this year, Vic Beasley.
Right.
Been a lot of talent in that program, but they've always, and we spoke of it throughout the year, their Achilles heel when you would face a Florida State or a Miami. They've overcome every hurdle. A lot of people had them pegged to lose to Oklahoma, especially with the suspension of 3 players. So this is their moment, but I can't say it's just their moment. This is also Alabama's moment. I mean, if Nick Saban wins his 4th title in 7 years, he's in pretty prestigious company.
This is going to be a telltale moment. Now, I'm going to sit back and say this. I get sick and tired of all the naysayers who come out and say, well, Alabama has to win this game because if they don't, that'll just show that. No, it won't show a damn thing. It'll show that Clemson was the better team on one given night. Just like if Alabama wins, they were the better team on one given night. You can't, unless it's a blowout, and I mean a hard blowout, Michigan State style, 38-0.
Mm-hmm.
Goose egg, which I felt bad for Michigan State. I really did, to a great degree. Didn't feel bad for Cook, felt bad for Michigan State. Remember, there's quite a few other players on that field that deserve to be there. Cook is a good quarterback, don't get me wrong. One moment does have a tendency to stick in people's mind. Case point scenario. One moment, Lincoln shot. We're still talking about that to this day. It's a conspiracy theory. We'll just blame I don't know who we're going to blame. I'll figure something out.
Looking at it, that lasting impression. Connor Cook, a tremendous career at Michigan State, but that game against Alabama is the last performance people will remember you by. It reminds me of in 1992, Gino Torretta.
Yep.
Tremendous career at the U, but all anyone remembers is that Sugar Bowl against the Alabama defense.
Or remembering when Vinny Testaverde, speaking of the U, picked up the Heisman Trophy and then turned around and threw how many interceptions in the national championship game?
I think he's still throwing them.
Yeah, I think he is too, and somebody just scored from one of them, so I think the scores run up to 84-17.
And the reason that I bring that up is in his pro career, there's a little bonus useless trivia for all of you this evening. He's the only quarterback to throw a touchdown pass in, I believe, 17 or 18 consecutive seasons. He played that long.
Testaverde?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, did not know that.
Even finished up, with the Dallas Cowboys in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Was still a backup quarterback who got in and threw a touchdown a couple of times. So.
You know, it's funny because I watched the Verizon commercial with McCown talking about backups when he's talking about the backup generators. I'm sure if they ever, I'm sure those backups could really shine. I got two initials and a word for you. AJ McCarron. Not bad, kid. Not bad. I think I'm torn yet again going into tomorrow. Oh, by the way, and yes, I think we're both sufficiently picking Alabama this coming Monday, right?
I'm actually going to pick Clemson 31-24. It's the first time I picked against Alabama. I was on them to beat Georgia. I was on them to beat LSU, to beat Auburn, Florida, Michigan State. But I'm not picking that. I've rode Clemson. I've rode that horse. I can't jump off of it now.
I understand the concept. There is such a thing called loyalty, and I respect that. May the best team win. Currently,
all we can hope for is a great game.
That's what I want. I don't want a damn blowout. I want people hanging on the edge of their seats, nachos and all, through the end, going down to the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Because when you get the national championship game, that's why I hate Super Bowls when they're a blowout. It's almost anticlimactic. Or when you get to the World Series in Major League Baseball and the American League team wins 4-9. It's like, no, this is the World Series. Both teams should be good enough to find a way to win 6 games, 3 games each, and go to Game 7. Same thing with the NBA. I'm a very altruistic in the way that I look at a lot of things. And competition is one of them. You know, during the season, a blowout is going to happen. Normally. Unless it's 1992 Alabama Crimson Tide. Didn't cover any game. All the way to the finals. And, damn it. Yeah, I know.
Looking like someone who, for entertainment purposes only, had a bad fall of 92.
Yeah, that's why I do my bets straight up. It's rare when I take the freaking line. I think Alabama's actually covered 5 times this year, which is a record. 7 times this year, which is a record for them. However, I will say this, as of this moment right now, Alabama is still a 7-point favorite in most books, and the over is still sitting at 50.5. Logistically speaking, go ahead.
I was going to say I would take that over. I think you and I normally do that. I like that. 50.5 seems maybe a tad low. I know you picked a low-scoring game. But.
Yeah, I think my final over is going to be right around 46 at the most. And with it still being Bama by 7, or Bama giving away 7, I would probably either pick Bama straight up and take the under, or I would pick Clemson because of the 7 and take the under. If this one ends up going over 50 points total, I will be surprised. Because, like I said...
One aspect... Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say one aspect I wanted to bring up, and I'm not sure if you could remember, dating all the way back, we'll just say to the BCS era that started in 1998, have we had a national championship game go into overtime?
Don't think so.
That would be cool.
Although we've seen enough games this year go into overtime to make up for it. Shift gears just a little bit later today, Saturday, January the 9th, wild card weekend for the National Football League. Kansas City on the road playing the Texans. 3:20 Central Time, 4:20 Eastern Time. Hey, 4:20 Eastern Time, 4:20 somewhere. Hell yeah. Okay, sorry, just got Cheech and Chong sidetracked for a second there. And if you follow Tommy Chong over on Instagram, you'll know what I mean. At Hey Tommy Chong. Your thoughts, Chiefs, Texans.
One of my favorite weekends in sports, I'll say, besides the opening of March Madness, the tournament, maybe the Masters in golf, and the opening of just football season all around. But yeah, wild card weekend in the NFL playoffs, one of my favorites, because we get that doubleheader on Saturday. Right off the bat, Eddie, the Kansas City Chiefs have won 10 games going into this. A lot of people pick them. I want to pick the Chiefs. There's a part of me that says, how in the HE double hockey sticks is Brandon Weeden going to win a playoff game when he couldn't cut it in Dallas? But for some reason, the Houston Texans, man, if the Chiefs weren't that hot, there would be more, I think, attention shown to what the Texans have done over the course of the last 7 weeks. I want to pick the Chiefs, but I also remember this is Andy Reid in the playoffs. The Chiefs, the last 7 times they've been to the playoffs, have been one and done. Against all better judgment, I'm going to pick the Houston Texans at home today.
Kansas City giving away 3 on the road. Over set at 39.5.
Ooh, that's ridiculously low, isn't it? I mean, just off the top of my head, I can't remember many pro games that weren't at least 41.
Yeah. And Smith is starting at quarterback for KC, right?
He is. I wanted to touch on that. A lot of people say he's only 1-2 in the playoffs, but I looked, his stats in those 3 games, 9 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's been let down by his defense.
Exactly.
In these games, he's averaged 33 points per playoff game, so he's got the job done.
I know the dog at home theory primarily works on Monday night, because that's the way I normally ride. Dog at home. In this circumstance, I know the Texans have the potential to run away with this and flip the script on a lot of people. I'm going to go ahead and sit back and say this will not be one of those days. Right now, I'm taking KC and the over. I'm going to go ahead and take KC on this one. For some reason, I think that this is also going to be a major revenge point, not necessarily against Houston, but also against the naysayers. I was
going to say, week 1, a lot of things have changed, not to interject, but yeah, Kansas City did go into Houston and win pretty handily, somewhere around a score of, say, 33-16.
Yeah, and that's with, at this point, I know that Jamal Charles is still not going to be in the game for KC. I know Foster's still out for Houston. And this is going to be one of those circumstances where I really am going to sit back and say this could still be a pick 'em in a lot of people's books. But in this circumstance, I think that Smith knows the gun is aimed at him, and he's under it to a great degree. a lot of it's going to depend on exactly which Alex Smith does show up, because there are times when he is a very good quarterback, and there are times when just stuff falls apart and he comes out anemic. I think this is going to be one of those circumstances. Everything in play. I think Smith is going to have another one of those. I think he's going to have a good day. I'm not going to say stellar or anything like that. I'm just going to say I think he has a very good day. And I think the Chiefs will pull this one out. 8:15 Eastern time tonight.
Here we go.
Yeah, I know. I get people ticked at me anytime that I pick against Pittsburgh, and this is one of those circumstances where Big Ben's got an arsenal, even with Williams being out. And as the Steelers take on the Bengals, I am pretty sure that everybody is sitting back going, thank God we're not in Minneapolis.
Where the high will be 0 degrees and falling.
Yeah, I know. God. But as we are 28 before the top of the hour right now, as it stands, the line just changed again to where it's rebalanced out at Pittsburgh being a 2-point favorite. In other words, kids, it's a damn pick 'em. Pretty much. I know 1 point means the world and a half point means the world in the world and for entertainment purposes only. But as far as it goes, Cincinnati has been at the right place at the right time. I feel bad for Andy Dalton. I feel great for A.J. McCarron. And this is one where so much pressure is being placed on McCarron because you've got the Bengals and a relatively young squad taking on probably one of the most prolific quarterbacks in the NFL in Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sure that if people could, they would handicap this game with Pittsburgh being a bigger favorite. But like I say, with the injury to Williams, that's going to change a lot of things. I'm going to go ahead and sit back and say I'm going to play dog at home on this one and say that the Cincinnati Bengals shock the Pittsburgh Steelers and they will advance today. Shane?
Using the same logic you just said, the reason I said that with the Texans, I want to fix the Chiefs. I root for the Chiefs, but as you and I know, over the course of pro football, when it just seems too easy, it ain't going to happen. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are everybody's trendy pick, the team you most don't want to play in the playoffs. But Cincinnati, McCarron went 2-1 as a starter. The game he lost, or excuse me, I don't know if you can't call it a starter. He came in relief of Andy Dalton against those very Steelers about a month ago.
Right.
And lost to Cincinnati. Cincinnati won the game in Pittsburgh. And for those that may be new to the NFL playoffs, I know there's people who come in and out each year, but the Bengals and the Steelers are about as nasty a rivalry as it gets, aside from the Bears and the Packers. I mean, these teams, a month ago, they had a skirmish coming out of the tunnel, and they fought during the pregame warm-up. So I'm waiting for the coin toss this evening to see what's going to transpire. But A.J. McCarron's played well. He's played well enough, and I still have a lot of suspect about that Steelers secondary. Their offense, as you alluded to, cannot be matched. I mean, with Antonio Brown, Martavius Bryant, and Heath Miller is still roaming around the seam and tight end. Big Ben has weapons at his disposal.
Right.
But I'm going to take the Bengals at home. Marvin Lewis, they've not won a playoff game in 25 years. That is the longest streak active in the Shield. I'm going to take the Bengals at home.
That's going to be a good game, and I will listen to it on the NFL app because I will be on the road today in a little while. Powerball. Going to blow through the bottom of the hour break and go ahead and take us straight on into round 4, or the home run round, if you will. Let's go ahead and keep this thing going tomorrow. Early game, Seattle Seahawks, Minnesota Vikings. I'm stealing one from Paul Pabst over at the Dan Patrick Show. It's going to be none degrees. That cold. And the big running gag that they were talking about is how many layers will Bob Costas be wearing at the game? Either that or
I'm
Michelle.
curious.
Go ahead.
Can we get some snow with this? Because I think it would be kind of deflating, no pun intended, for the New England Patriots, if it were just 0 degrees with wind. I mean, if it's going to be that cold, let's have that be the weather game, especially in Minnesota, who played in the Metrodome for so many years, now playing outdoors.
At the University of Minnesota, yeah. Oh, God. And like I said, Tafoya's got it even worse because she's going to be on the field.
Oh.
I think NBC's. Yeah, I know. I think NBC, but she's tough enough. Look, there are two women right now that work in the. Well, no, she no longer works for the NBC umbrella. Tafoya is a true professional in every sense of the word, and the other person that I would actually love to see sideline in this circumstance, and she's going to kill me on Twitter for saying this, Beetle.
Yeah.
Beetle, I think she would excel in this environment. I know she's stuck in the studio, which she hates every once in a while. The other one would be Amy Lawrence from CBS Radio. It'd be fun watching her do this. But, I'm sorry, I just still have my thing for Michelle Beadle. That's all I'm going to say. I have this.
She's a wrestling fan.
Yeah, buddy. Quiet candlelit pizza dinner. I'm good with that. Put the guns down, back away slowly, kids. Yes, I said candlelight and pizza in the same sentence.
This is the Shooter's Gallery.
There you go. The line has changed yet again inside the last 15 minutes because I've been watching my favorite site, scoresandodds.com. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only, kids. We like doing this just to have fun. Other shows do it because they have to. We do it because we want to. We have fun with this crap.
Absolutely.
Seahawks, Vikings. Has anybody come up with the concept of a safely wired warming cup? As everybody
you bring that up, the first thing that comes to my mind is when those Minnesota Vikings were using a device called the Whizzinator a few years ago to sabotage drug testing. So when you mentioned cups, sorry, first thing that came to mind.
Seahawks giving away 4 against the Vikings, over set at 39.5. The number of people who are out for both and probable and possible for both is still sitting as a who's who. Minnesota is playing in their backyard at none degrees. And Seattle hasn't got it that much better in the Pacific Northwest during the wintertime. So I'm not going to say they're strangers to this environment. I say that this is going to be a true test of athletic skill, prowess, and determination. Do I see the Seahawks on the road in Minnesota winning this game? Yes, I do. But by the same token, will they win this game? I don't think they will. I'm actually going to go with the Vikings in the over. Barely over. Shane?
This has been the toughest game for me to call. I noticed late last night, Marshawn Lynch, the running back, was ruled out for this game. And my initial thought was it's going to hurt him. And then I thought, wait a minute, collect your thoughts. Look how hot they've been over the last 6 weeks, including a total annihilation of Bruce Arians' Arizona Cardinals last weekend in Arizona without Lynch. The only thing that gets me, Seattle has represented the NFC the last 2 years consecutively in the Super Bowl. I just hope they're not looking ahead to a possible rematch with the Carolina Panthers, because Minnesota's that team, and we spoke about this earlier in the year, could have been a surprise team to make the playoffs. They have. I don't think a lot of people thought they would beat the Green Bay Packers last week in Lambeau. Oh, it's the Packers, it's Lambeau, it's Aaron Rodgers. They went in and dominated every facet of that game.
Yes, they did.
And they remember over a month ago when Seattle came to Minnesota and housed them in their own backyard. Now with the playoffs on the line, I want to pick Seattle, but I've been so impressed with Mike Zimmer as head coach of the Vikings. I've been impressed in the growth of Teddy Bridgewater, and Adrian Peterson is fully healthy, and their defense is nasty. I'm going to take the Vikings, yes, at home.
Packers, Redskins. Pick 'em? Legit. Now, actually, that did get changed because the Redskins are now a 1-point favorite. Over is 44.5, Shane. Your thoughts first.
This is the one where I say it again. People seem to get into that lure of it's Aaron Rodgers at the Green Bay Packers. Their offensive line is in shambles. Jordy Nelson ain't walking through that door. Receivers cannot get open. Aaron Rodgers cannot get protection. And who's had a better 8-game stretch than Kirk Cousins? I mean, this guy is putting up numbers equivocal to the Tom Brady's and Ben Roethlisberger's of the football world. And boy, in a contract year, is that not handy for him down the road?
There you go.
I think FedEx Field is going to be rocking, and I know everyone took their barbs and their shots at the NFC East, and rightfully so, but the best team won that division by far. And I'm going to take the Redskins at home, and I'm going to say Kirk Cousins, you're going to like that.
Yeah, the mystique has been shattered this year about the Packers to a great degree because the inconsistency has been shown primarily due to injuries. You can't say anything about the coaching. You can't say anything about the execution other than the fact that it's you have to have stability in the lineup. And unfortunately, in the world of football, which is not an impact sport, it's a collision sport. It's a car crash sport. Always has been, always will be. And with it being a 1-point Redskins favor, will the Packers be able to rebound in a circumstance to where they can take it on the road into a place where so many people think that they should win outside of the arrogance of the circumstance? I really am inclined to agree that the Redskins have just got... I'm going to use the analogy. I'm going to use that little simile that I liked to use for Michigan State for the season. They have an angel on their shoulder and a horseshoe up their ass. And yeah, I'll agree the best team won. But I'm also going to sit back and say there's a lot of question marks in that division about who is genuine, how you define the word best. I'm going to go ahead and join you on this one and sit back and say, what the hell? Redskins at home win. Advance. Wow, I cannot believe I'm actually saying that after the midpoint of this season.
Exactly. I mean, at one point they were down 24-0 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, completed the comeback, the largest in Redskins history. And since then, they, like you said, they've been hot, had that horseshoe up their ass. And looking at it, the parity in the National Football League, you could make a case for any of the 4 road teams to win. It would shock me if 1, 2, 3, or even all 4 did so. By the same token, it would not surprise me if all 4 teams at home won because they earned that right and they're the better team. Who knows?
Let us take a look at it. 18 minutes before the top of the hour. We're not on time clock today. My dad's just going to kill me if I'm late for lunch. But no, in all seriousness, Dad knows the way I am when I get on here. So it's like he's going to sit back and listen and go, I know. 1 week from tonight. Can't believe it's finally here. Genuinely, it's like I'm sitting back on New Year's Eve, sitting back going, how long have we got to wait for this? And then I wake up this morning, it's like, damn, that's next weekend. The Peach State Wrestling Alliance returns to the historic VFW Fairgrounds, 1625 Bankhead Highway, Carrollton, Georgia. For those who want to pre-program their GPS, the zip code is 30116. Tag Team Title Tournament. Now, question, is this going to be open and closed one night, or are you going to go ahead and go spread over 2?
One night only. 8 tag teams drawn up in a traditional basketball, softball, insert your favorite sport here, type bracket. 4 opening round matches, 2 semifinals, 1 final. And I can put this out there for the first time. This is the second time Peach State's done a tag team title tournament. However, whichever 2 teams reach the finals, it will be 2 out of 3 falls.
You know what? This hit me when I saw the event first come out. I'm still having trouble with the English language today. Gee, what a surprise! You know what would have been a very unique circumstance for the tag team titles to be decided in? Battle Bowl. Can you picture the possibilities on something like that?
Oh, with it being a random names drawn out of a hat, you could have a true wild card tag team come out as tag team champions, and who knows how they would work, going forward, defending those belts.
Kind of like the circumstance that you were just in over there in Peach State when you had Dusty McWilliams and Simon Sermon, because those are 2 individuals that under normal circumstances would not probably have teamed up together.
Yeah, the whole reason this tournament has came about is Simon Sermon, his own singles programs, as well as Dusty McWilliams, which concluded with Iceberg at Christmas Chaos. And geez, what a barbaric cage of horrors match that was. Check it out, kids. PeachStateWrestlingAlliance.com. Get the DVD copy. Just saying. The belts were vacated. Start the new year off. We're going to crown new tag team champions. And I want to say this. You spoke at the People's Choice Awards. For those listening around in the Georgia area, very honored, Peach State Wrestling Alliance won the Georgia Wrestling History Award for Best Promotion 2015, and I sincerely mean that. That I'm just a small part of this deal, even though being the promoter, this reflects on every piece of talent, all the workers, the managers, the ballets, the ring announcers, the DVD announcers, everyone from security, our crew, the promotion top to bottom won best promotion, and here, much deserved.
The fun part is when I saw that come out, I sat back and said, well deserved. Because let's put this in perspective, and this is where I'm going to be a horse's ass for a hot second, folks. So mark your calendars on this one. There is a huge number. There are a lot of promotions in the state of Georgia, going from north to south, east to west. And this is where I'm going to draw heat. There are some promotions that should not be running. I am very quick to say that because of things that I've seen from different shows. It's like there are people out there, it's like, why are you booking a show? Why are you running a show? Why are you giving the world of pro wrestling a black eye? Georgia's fierce enough and competitive enough to begin with. And then you put out a show, I've seen promoters put out a show that are subpar. I've been to one that was not that great. And one of the things, I'm not saying this to do head expansion for Shane. But there are two words that I've used when it comes to having been to PWA shows. And this is one of the reasons why I'm genuinely appreciative to be behind the microphone. Consistently strong. I didn't say consistently good. I said consistently strong. Big difference. You can be good all day long. But the fact of the matter is, when you go bell to bell, start to finish, and everything falls into place, and the roller coaster ride is there, and you're able to take the curves, the hills, the valleys, and everything right along with the in-ring talent when you're sitting in the stands, that is strong. When you walk away going, when's the next show? And mean it, that's because you've been to a very consistently strong show. So I will sit back and, sir, tip my hat, and if I was actually wearing one, it would probably be getting in the way of the headset by now, but no, in all sincerity, dude, well-deserved to everybody. I mean, from the locker room to the front door to the concession stand, in ring, out of ring, all of the above, my hat's off to you. Hell of a run this past year, and it's going to get even better in 2016.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's can't rest on your laurels too long, because if you're looking at it for best promotion of the year, very close in the runner-ups, AWE, Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, WrestleMerica, which I had the pleasure of attending last night. And can I speak about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
WrestleMerica last night presented their event, Styles Clash. For those unfamiliar, you can Google it, check it out on Facebook. WrestleMerica promotion that runs in Barnesville, Georgia, once a month. And last night, the advertised main event, the savior of pro wrestling and PWA Heritage Champion Jimmy Rave versus the phenomenal AJ Styles of the Bullet Club. And Eddie, you know this on indie shows, when there's just that certain buzz. You can tell when you walk in a building. You can sense it from the fans when they're getting their photo ops, their autographs, they're looking at merch tables, they're buying their nachos, Cokes, popcorn, and hot dogs. There was a buzz for Jimmy Rave and AJ Styles, the likes of which I haven't seen a whole lot. And the reason I say this way is you've got AJ Styles, Georgia homegrown, been at TNA, Ring of Honor, and now in New Japan. But then you've got Jimmy Rave, who certainly has his own well-traveled merits. But as far as in the state over the course of the last year, and by the way, Jimmy Rave, on those Georgia Wrestling History Awards, took home a double shot. Best technical wrestler as well as best overall wrestler. So kudos to Jimmy Rave. What a hell of a comeback year in 2015. But you just saw the audience was legitimately split. And it may have seemed comical to some, and maybe so, but for me, it was a show of respect. I mean, 30 seconds into this match, "This is awesome" chant started. And I saw maybe 2 or 3 people say, "This isn't awesome, they haven't done anything yet." But you see other people locked in, like, this is already foreshadowing this is going to be awesome. And they went maybe about 5 minutes in singles. Sal Renaro comes in, gets involved. Luke Gallows gets involved. a tag team challenge is issued on the spot. So even though some may have felt shortchanged on the singles match between Jimmy Rave and AJ Styles, boy, did the tag team match deliver. And Sal Rinauro, Jimmy Rave did not look lost in there with members of the Bullet Club. And for the finish of the match, Luke Gallows had laid out Sal Rinauro. Jimmy Rave attempts a top rope Hurricane Rana on AJ Styles. It is blocked and delivers the Styles Clash on Jimmy Rave on top of Sal Rinauro, splashing down from the top rope for the 1, 2, 3. Dude, it was a beautiful visual.
Damn.
But, yeah, with, it was incredible. And, with all the buzz, I mean, speaking of elephants in the room, I mean, a lot of rumors out there, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Anderson, the whole members of the Bullet Club, possibly, I mean, is it a definite yet? Headed to the WWE, straight out of New Japan, gave notice Monday morning at the Wrestle Kingdom pay-per-view.
Wish I could have been there. You know, that's what I hate about shows that run on Friday night, because I do my double shot at my daytime job, and then I host at Buffalo Wild Wings in Alabaster. And it's hard enough for me to get Friday off from one, much less both. So it's kind of like, damn it. Now, I know that Wrestle America does actually film, and they have a television show out of the Barnesville market, and I think it's also carried in a couple other venues as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to being able to see this one somewhere down the road. But so, did Gallows make any reference to validation or denial?
In the ring, setting up the tag team challenge, he and AJ in the ring, Rave and Gennaro down on the floor at ringside. Luke just said, this. You guys talk a lot about what you're doing now in Georgia wrestling. I think any fan in here knows where AJ Styles and I are headed for the future, which got a tremendous crowd pop. So very coy, maybe speaking in, code terms, but I think without just coming outright saying it, yeah, they're headed. And, I got a chance to speak with Luke, and said he is not signed on the dotted line, but there's a couple of things pending within the next week that would, make that all but a formality. So, and looking forward in that as a fan, and that's why I spoke of earlier in the broadcast about exciting times. I mean, unfortunately, Randy Orton is out. I don't know for how much longer. God. Seth Rollins is out, and now we've seen the injury to John Cena, a torn labrum, out 6 to 9 months. Will not be around for Royal Rumble season or WrestleMania season. Nope. I can't help but wonder, would Triple H and Vince, either one or both, whoever made the collective effort, would they have made the push to get the Bullet Club if there had not been the rash of injuries? And I hate it when any performer is injured, regardless of what I think of their character. But moving forward, wow, if that's booked properly, you and I know this, I dare say, go on record, the Bullet Club is the hottest thing in pro wrestling that has been non-WWE entity since WCW closed, because there's been things in Ring of Honor and TNA that have been hot, but they sure didn't push through the mainstream, certainly nothing like what WWE does. But for the Bullet Club to be that popular without being behind the marketing of the WWE, and now possibly being headed there, all the creative matchups that could happen. And if booked properly around Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, that could be some pretty cool stuff.
I agree wholeheartedly, but I have to sit back and say this. I'm going to go ahead and weigh my coins on the scale that says they need to hit NXT first. The reason being money.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put this in perspective. I started to the other night on TBD. When you have the opportunity, and it's funny because I'm going to use the phrase that Michael Bennett used on Impact this week, when the internet darlings known as the Bullet Club, Anderson, Gallows, Styles in particular. I know that Triple H is not a big fan of the Jackson boys. That's the Young Bucks are a really tricky monkey. There are times when I'm a huge Young Bucks fan. There are times not so much. But it just depends on who they're taking on. And you can always gauge. And in their cases, more often than not, there are certain spots that are going to be done by the Young Bucks, regardless. And that almost makes me think about a later generation Flair match. You know certain spots are going to be hit. Gorilla Press Slam out of the corner. Even if it's El Torito doing it. There's your visual for the week, kids. But I also am...
There's going to be the back body drop out of the corner, too.
Yeah, that too. That Flair's going to land on his damn hip all over again. Not back bump. He'll take a hip bump.
Side. Yep.
Yeah, he'll take that rolling hip bump. Now, if you get the internet darlings known as the Bullet Club, those three in particular, onto NXT, which is available on the WWE Network exclusively, you will gain more subscriptions. This I have no doubt. Will it be 5,000 more? Possibly. 10,000 more? Conceivably. 15,000 more? Not sure. But even if they pick up another 5K on the subscriptions, hello, that'll take care of a lot of stuff right there.
Mm-hmm.
And the IWC is notorious for backing just as quickly as they are for slamming. So I will be fair in a lot of ways. Most real wrestling fans, like I said, people listen to this show. I have a chance to speak to them different ones every once in a while. And a lot, they're just like us in the sense that we are very candid about certain things. I genuinely feel that if this is signed, I just hate the fact that, as they did with Balor, Fergal Devitt, that they are going to do a name change thing all over again. But I will also sit back and say, I'll bet my bottom last dollar, not the one that I'm going to spend on a lottery ticket later and get the winning ticket, but bless you.
Thank you.
I think that this signing, if it does take place, is Vince's way of sitting back going, I get my way regardless. Because remember, front office of WWE wasn't too happy about the Too Sweet thing being shown or said. They wanted to find, if Vince can't find one way to eradicate something from his line of sight, he'll find another way to do it. So what better way to get rid of somebody else doing Too Sweet than to hire him and say you can't do it anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Is Vince McMahon the type of person that would make that move to hire members of the Bullet Club so that he could break it apart so he wouldn't have to see it on his timeline anymore? Yes, he is. Agree or disagree?
I agree, and there's one internet rumor that I've seen that I hope is going to come to fruition, that WWE is in negotiations to purchase the Bullet Club trademark, because I'm like you, I would not want to see them come in as the club, or, like a variation of some different name of the Shield. I mean, if they could get that name, and I know WWE has been, certainly throughout the years, they don't pay for someone else's right to name. They're going to create you in their own image. But I think this is one where the Bullet Club needs to stay the Bullet Club.
I believe licensing and franchising should be in order. I don't think they should sign away everything, because what's to say that 30 days after they get the rights to everything, if they have exclusivity, that they don't turn around and say, okay, you're done, bye.
Right.
This is business, kids, and I look at it from that perspective. Look, I'm a very fair and honest business person, but I also look at it from a very cutthroat side of life. Coming up on the top of the hour, tell you what, folks, we're going to go a little bit over time, if you will, sudden death, if you want to call it that. Let's take a look real quick, and we got away from it. I want to come back to it. Train back on the tracks. Yeah, you know me. I'll jump the tracks just as quickly, too, more often than anybody else on this network. This Saturday night. 1 week from tonight, this coming Saturday night, January 16th, let's take a look at it in the tag team title tournament. Let's take them real quick. The Aries brothers, Scott and Andrew, going to make a bid for the tag team title. Shane?
Debuting as a tag team in Peach State, they competed in a triple threat match August 15th along with Charles Sanders. Sanders went on to find a tag team partner in Ace Haven, trending now. Nice little winning streak that came to an end December 26th against the beautiful Bald Besties, and I realize I'm name-dropping teams galore here, but the Aries brothers they've been out scouting, watching the tag team matches intently. Hashtag trending now was undefeated until a loss to the Besties, who reappeared in Peach State on the 26th. They are former tag team champions also in the fold. So there's 3 of their 8 right there. No one knows really expect on the Aries brothers, but I've seen them. Very impressive down at Pro South.
I've had a chance to work with the Aries brothers as well, and they make a very strong showing, and they are two individuals that are ready. Sorry about that. They are two individuals that are always ready and willing to continue to learn. They pay attention, they listen, and they watch all of the above. And they, like I said, learning lessons every day is a lot of what happens in the world of pro wrestling, plain and simple. And I think the Aries brothers are off to a really strong start, and I think they're going to continue to get even better than they already are. Ace Haven, Charles Anders, hashtag trending now.
Yep, trending now, along with the Beautiful Bald Besties. I mean, that was a very good match on the 26th. Ace Haven, Charles Anders, accompanied by the lovely Amy Haven. And I look at this, even though I am a participant in this tag team tournament along with Nigel Sherrod, our manager, the Wicked Nemesis.
Oh,
injuries have healed up. He'll be back on the 16th. I look at this. You see the Southside Trash, Rowdy and Razor.
Yeah,
that was for the fans. There have been fans that over the last 3 or 4 years mention the Southside Trash. We're not able to work anything out on dates. They were booked somewhere else or were unable to make it. And I think it's a testament to them in that area because they last competed, like to say, Dusty Rhodes for Turnbuckle in that venue years ago. But the fact people remember them, they are a strong, cohesive unit. They're not worried about pretty faces and getting down dirty, so to speak. So, of course, you're not afraid to get dirty if you have the word trash in your tag team name. But the Trash is in there, just looking at it. I've covered the Beautiful Bald Besties, Michael Stevens and Zach Edwards, hashtag trending now, the Aries brothers, Nigel Sherrod, and myself with the Wicked Nemesis. It's not being billed as the Exotic Ones, but Tommy Too Much and Simon Sermon with America Strong, also a tag team. Very formidable, looks like, in this tag team tournament. The feature attraction, Britt Jackson and Donnie Primetime, they're getting their shot. I mean, they've competed a couple of times against hashtag trending now. And then one team, I'm looking at the other side of the bracket, and I got to be honest, or not on the other side of the bracket because I don't know how this is going to be drawn up come Saturday, but I'm not afraid to say I hope Nigel Sherrod and I do not meet the reflection of perfection Tyson Dean and the real deal AJ Steele. For entertainment purposes, if I was a betting man, how could you not pick AJ Steele and Tyson Dean, other than the fact they've never teamed before, so you don't know about cohesiveness and experience together, but certainly in singles competition, their merits speak for themselves.
Yeah, I would have to put that in military terminology. When you put a combination like Tyson Dean and AJ Steele together, you've got an APC and a tank going side by side. You know, either that or a bulldozer. AJ Steele is just one of those people that you do not want to be in the way of, regardless. I mean, in my case, it's like if you're standing between me and the buffet, you're doomed. Any other circumstance, the money's on Steele. Yeah, I had one of my favorite ones thrown back at me in a flashback a couple of weeks ago on GCW radio when Mad Dog decided to bring up, nobody gets in the way of Fast Eddie Layne when it comes to Mr. Wang's all-you-can-eat buffet, especially if the crab legs are out there. Yeah, you're screwed. You're done. You're in the way.
You should be an honorary member of Team All You Can Eat with Smart Mark Corey. I saw him last night and had the opportunity to talk with him, and he invited me to come on tomorrow evening on the Beyond Ringside for his show. So I told Corey I'd definitely try to get on. I appreciate the invite.
Let me see. I believe that is 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. From there, also, in addition to the tag team title tournament, the PWA Heritage Championship will be defended next Saturday night, January the 16th in Carrollton, Georgia, as
Jimmy Rave takes on Sal Renaro. When I spoke earlier, that match took place December 26th, unadvertised. Man, the buzz off of Jimmy Rave and Sal Renaro. I mean, not just with the questionable what has happened with the PWA Heritage title, is it held up, is it not? But now that that's advertised, I mean, you're looking at guys that have been partners, adversaries, bitter enemies throughout Ring of Honor, throughout the state of Georgia, hell, FIP down in Florida. And it's pretty cool. They're going to meet up in Carrollton for Peach State Wrestling Alliance for that Heritage title.
Tickets are going to be
$10 for adults. Children ages 6 and under get in free. front row is already gone for the 16th stage seats. There's about 40 stage seats. I think about 30 of those are gone. If you'd like to reserve any stage tickets or general admission, you can email us at pwafanbase@yahoo.com. Yes, I'll go ahead and do shameless plugs right here, but we're talking tickets. We're talking money.
There you go.
Peach State Wrestling Alliance, PeachStateWrestlingAlliance.com, our website. You can contact us there or shoot us a message over on our Peach State Wrestling Alliance Facebook page. I can't tell you how excited I am. I mean, it's a new year. We spoke about Bullet Club, TNA on the Pop Network, SmackDown on USA. Unfortunately, the injuries to John Cena. I mean, who's coming, who's going. But for Peach State Wrestling Alliance, starting off 2016, kicking off our 8th year, 2 titles will be decided hopefully by the conclusion of the evening of January 16th.
You know, you made a reference to it. Let me go ahead and throw this one out there because let's go rapid fire for the last couple of minutes. Impact, of course, we brought that up. You just mentioned it again a minute ago, the debut on Pop TV, which, of course, culminated in the main event of the evening, which was the finals of the World Title Tournament. Ethan Carter III taking on Matt Hardy. I am still one of those, and look, I'm going to go ahead and sit back and say this. I am a fan of Matt Hardy's in-ring ability 7 days a week. I think when Matt Hardy is healthy, he is a solid performer, a very good performer. Ethan Carter III, EC3, is one of those where as long as you don't hold what happened in WWE against him, you are going to be looking at somebody that can work 7 days a week. And this guy is money all the way across the board with the EC3 persona. This guy is absolutely incredible. Almost rock star in the way of his approach. I got tickled to heaven and back, all of the above, when his entrance hit early in the show and the person forgot to hit the follow spot when he looked over his shoulder. Oh no, he came unglued for a hot second. It's like, really? I came out of my chair laughing because if I didn't, I was going to fall down and hurt myself. You know, you have those moments where it's like everything is supposed to be boom, and he did the whip around with the head over the shoulders, and the follow spot came on about a second and a half later, and it's like, really? And he said that straight to camera. Really? It's not like
one thing also TNA that I wanted to bring to you. We've seen this with Kobe Bryant now in the NBA. Certainly, you see it with bands and artists in the realm of music. But I've never seen a wrestler do a farewell tour like what Kurt Angle announced. So, kind of excited to see where that goes.
I'm really kind of curious on that one also. Kurt Angle, in my book, is one of the best in-ring performers, period. I do call him probably the best wrestler of all time. And this is because of the fact that he brings the credibility all the way from the amateur side into the professional side. And he's had a stellar career, whether it be WWE or TNA, or a one-night appearance in ECW that he never admits to anymore. But I think it's time. I think Angle's been plagued with injuries lately. And I know that, look, you want to be able to enjoy life after wrestling, and a lot of us can't because of the factor of mounting injuries. That, you know, we're stubborn asses, and this is something that will not be held against me later in a court of law. We are stubborn as the day is long, and we feel probably more so than a lot of people in wrestling. And we feel more so than even a lot of people in football, basketball, baseball, hockey, that we can work through the injuries and get through, because we understand the fact that in our world, especially in pro wrestling, if you don't play, you don't get paid. So therefore, it's a case of we continue to push ourselves even though we know we need to take a couple of weeks off. I'm guilty of that. Been there, done that. Bought the t-shirt. Actually have friends who printed it for me. Yeah. But from that vantage point, yeah, I think it's definitely time for Kurt to start considering a different, rather than a move away from in-ring action. The EC3 Matt Hardy match was better than I thought it was going to be. I knew Carter could do it. The match that Carter and Hardy had at the title change last year was good. It could have been a little bit better. I think that they tried to tug on the heartstrings by having Rebby and the Munchkin there at ringside for Matt. I think that they were building on that, and I've got to sit back and say this. I'm going to be a jerk, and I admit it. Carter looks and carries himself like a champion. Hardy looks and carries himself like a road crew member for a rock band. I'm sorry. In-ring talent Hardy is there. It is fun to watch him work because he knows what he's doing. He is definitely he's top tier talent. But just the way that, and look, the way that he keeps himself as far as the scraggly beard, the messed up hair, and what looks like the workout pants on crack, just, it makes me think not a list champion, not your flag bearer, your standard bearer. And
I was going to say, those pants he wears inspired many a wrestler to go to Hot Topic, try to emulate.
Either that or smoke a really bad grade of weed. I'm sorry. I'm sure his brother knew where to get it for a long time until he walked away from it. Thank God, Jeff. I mean, the emulation process, Jeff Hardy is Jeff Hardy. There are certain things that Jeff Hardy can do that no one else can do. There's some things that Jeff Hardy does that no one else should do. And I just, like I said, I have a world of respect for Matt Hardy as far as in-ring ability goes, but the way that he physically carries himself in an outward manner as far as the looks go, I've never pictured Matt Hardy as a top-tier champion. I'm sorry. I know I'm going to get hate mail for that, but it's the way I feel. It genuinely is. Would I pay money to see Matt Hardy in a world title match? No. Would I pay money to see Matt Hardy defending a world title? No. Whereas with Carter, he has grown exponentially. He has the look of a champion. He has the way that he carries himself is that of a champion. You cannot argue that. I don't care. And for everybody who does the chant, you can't wrestle. Yes, he can. And I think he owns that too. He has learned how to play with that. And the guy's mic skills are there. He is he has earned his way to be called top tier talent. And for them to and this is the only part that pisses me off. You had the title change with Hardy and EC3. You go through the title being Matt having to relinquish the belt. You go through all of this with the world title tournament just to get us back to the same two guys, and you put the belt right back on Carter. Damn. Really? You go all the way around your elbow, around the block, through the church steeple, past the drive-through window to get to your ass. How? But I give credit where credit is due. It took a really bold act to try to put this together. I think a lot of TNA creative goes unheralded for the fact that they were willing to try this and to make it look like a company-wide outing and process. I give credit for that. You could have just as easily said, nope, we're going to do it like this, screw it. No, you didn't do it just like that, screw it. You made it look good. There were some moments where a lot of people were confused and went, what the hell? But by the same token, you had a lot more people sit back and go, I see where you're going with this, and we'll stick it out. Wasn't that many. But for everybody who tuned into the series premiere over on Pop TV, thank you for giving it a chance. Because start to finish, like I said, there were a couple of things here and there that I was about. That's normal. That's with any show. I even did that with 24, one of my favorite shows of all time. Miss you, Kiefer. But, yeah. And then the Advent, coming over real quick. You said you have not seen the title match yet, right?
No, I did, yeah, with Carter and Hardy.
Okay, go.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, go ahead. Your thoughts.
I'm like you. No disrespect to Matt Hardy. If it sounds that way, my apologies. But I just look at it, what you spoke of. EC3, to me, screams world title picture. Matt Hardy does not. And fair or unfair, when I look at it, would I see either of these guys main eventing in WWE? There's only one that I think, and his initials are EC. I mean, Carter's got that look. He's got the total package. I mean, not to call him Luger, he's got the body. He's got the in-ring skills, the character, the promo ability. But thing, too, he gives me that special vibe when he comes down the aisle. He's so smart with psychology, knows how to carry himself well in and out of the ring.
Yeah. I mean, I give credit where credit is due all the way across the board for days on that one. The advent of the Miracle, Mike Bennett with Maria Kanellis. First off, Kanellis, beautiful as always.
I was going to say, time has done nothing wrong with Maria.
Oh,
she
yes.
looks phenomenal.
Boy. Mike Bennett, you lucky son of a buzzard. It was funny because I'm going to digress for a hot second. I had a chance a few years back to do a sit-down interview with Dale the Demon Torborg, if you remember him from WCW days, who was the strength and conditioning coach for the Chicago White Sox organization at the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it was absolutely funny because my media coordinator at the time, Justin Rosenberg, who was nicknamed Baron Von Awesome, he picked that, and I just went, pop, love it. And he said, I got somebody coming in you might want to meet. And lo and behold, I'm in the PA position for the Birmingham Barons, and all of a sudden it's like, Eddie, turn around. And leaning over the counter, towering, of course, or the back aisle of desks, leaning over, sticking his hand out, Justin goes, Dale Torborg, Fast Eddie Layne, the Demon. Dude, great to meet you. I'd love to do an interview with sometime. And lo and behold, we did. The following day, we sat down, talked for about an hour. About 35 minutes of it went to air. Justin's just like watching the entire time, and it's like, dude, do you want to be a part of this interview? He's like, no, I love what you're doing. Keep going. And originally, Dale said we had about 15 minutes to work with. And we got to the 15, and I was heading for the wrap-up. He said, we go. Let's have fun. He said, I like your style. Let's play. I said, thank you. I'm impressed. Scared to death, too. Huge. I mean, remember, I'm 5'8". But by the same token, we had this one moment. This is the payoff on this. After it was over with, I said, by the way, I said, you don't know this, but you stole my future ex-wife. He's like, what? I said, yeah, Asia, you stole my future ex-wife. He said, okay, what are you going to do about it? I said, nothing, just thought I'd tell you.
Just thought I'd inform you on this matter.
He started laughing. He's like, that's the only time anybody has ever given me that answer before. It's like, well, I'm glad to see I can be original. I was going to go ahead and use the other, and this reminds me of, I tell you that to tell you this, I still have to sit back and laugh at the picture that floated around social media a few months back, or maybe a year back. The typical, if Cena wins, we riot sign. Mm-hmm. I still have the graphic, fuzzy though it may be. It's a shot of Reigns, and in the background you see the sign. If Roman Reigns wins, we go home afterwards. That just still popped me forever. But coming up to the Miracle, Mike Bennett making his appearance and debut on TNA Wrestling. I hate to see Ring of Honor lose him. I sincerely pray to God, hope that they do Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis proper when it comes in there. And he's already talking world title, which I think there needs to be a get acquainted process, even though I'm pretty sure more people saw him on Ring of Honor than they see on TNA at this point. But your thoughts, Mike Bennett, Maria Kanellis making their appearance on Impact.
I thought it was cool. I know Maria's a name known to most people. Mike Bennett maybe not, but I thought it was really cool to give him that spotlight as the closing segment on the show. And he wasn't touched, just did a promo. I thought that was beautiful. And I'm like you, easy Romeo, on the world title talk. There needs to be an acquaintance process, because I'm sure a lot of people tuning in may have said, who the hell's Mike Bennett, if you're not familiar with Ring of Honor? So you've got to make them realize why he's important, why he's someone you should care about.
Also, coming over to WWE for a hot second, Chris Jericho interrupting the New Day this week to announce he is going to be in the Royal Rumble this year, attempting at the recreation of the Jericho interrupting The Rock to a degree. But by the same token, great to see Jericho back. Looking forward to seeing exactly what they do with him and how he does things coming back into the Royal Rumble, Shane.
Yeah, things are always much more fun for me personally watching the WWE product when Y2J is involved. And it's so funny. I've told people that over the years. In WCW, I respected him. He was okay. Didn't mean I didn't change the channel when he was on. Over to WWE, and even his first run in WWE, the Jerichoholics, it was fun. But I don't know. It was like on the way out that first time, because I know he's made several reappearances. That first time out against Cena, where he was the heel at SummerSlam, I don't know. It was like, man, now I'm finally getting into Chris Jericho around 2005, and he's leaving. ever since, with the whole David Lee Roth looking light up jacket, just the way he's transformed himself, the lead singer of Fozzy. This last decade, I've been more into Chris Jericho than I was the first 10 or 12 years. But kudos. I mean, I know it's probably, like I spoke of, the injuries on the roster. You kind of got to reach out to Chris. But, yeah, if he's going to be around for Rumble and Mania season, that's always much more fun in my book.
I have to ask the question before we head for shameless plugs. Let's go and throw this one out there. We talked about it a little bit earlier, the reunion of Beer Money, Storm and Rude. Lo and behold, the way that they're setting it up, of course, is a huge question mark. But remember, when Beer Money was first debuted on TNA Broadcasting or Impact Broadcasting, they were as a heel team. And then they basically were in, the fans basically switched them to babyface before the Office could, which, you know, it's a scary thing when the organic response from a crowd is not the intended one that the front office wishes for. It's like, no, you're supposed to be booing these guys. They're heels. You hate them. Please boo them, not cheer. It's like, okay, fine. Guess what? You bring out the Boozer Cruiser, which I still pop for every damn time I saw it. Love to have one if it could handle my 240-pound ass. Serious, I want one of those. I don't care. I want one. Not because Storm rode the damn thing. I want one because it's cool. Do you
I just love the name Boozer Cruiser. I always loved that.
Yeah, I thought it was funny as hell. Based on the interaction between Storm and Rude, do you see the possibility of Beer Money obtaining or re-attaining the level of success that they had the first time around?
I think they're more over, Bobby Roode and James Storm individually, and I think because of the run they had as Beer Money before, people will take them serious. I just have to wonder, you know, what's the tag team division scene going to look like at TNA for them to feud with? Because as you know, you're only as good as your opponents, and I hope they can keep them formidable for Beer Money.
Well, sir, I'm going to go ahead and throw in your direction and say, Shane Noles, last call, sir.
Oh, well, I say get out and do something, but I'm guilty. I'm going to say that today and tomorrow I will be planting my rear end in front of the 55-inch flat screen watching football as well as Monday evening, so enjoy a weekend that extends into Monday with Pigskin. If not, if you still haven't seen Star Wars, you need to. And Peach State Wrestling Alliance next Saturday, January the 16th. Check us out on all mediums, PeachStateWrestlingAlliance.com. You can email me personally, ShaneKnowles@gmail.com if you have any questions, concerns. Useless trivia, still on tap for this week. Tuesday night, Loco Mex, Mexican restaurant, Jacksonville, Alabama, 7 o'clock start time. Wednesdays at the Mellow Mushroom in Oxford, Alabama, 7 o'clock start time as well. Love to have you join us.
Yeah, you haven't done the bonus question for a while.
Okay. What was one from this week? Sports, NFL. With 291 career passing touchdowns at the end of this 2015 season, which quarterback has the most passing touchdowns of any active quarterback without a Super Bowl appearance?
Ooh, wow. Because the first thing popped in my head was Roethlisberger. Without a Super Bowl appearance, it can't be Cam Newton. Can't be Alex Smith. Romo's out, therefore it can't be him. Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons.
Phillip Rivers,
Damn
San
it.
Diego Chargers.
Always overlooked. Always overlooked, and I am so sorry because I'm actually, you know, I'm cool with the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it! I hate I missed that one. Why did I even see? Therein lies the rub. It's like, okay, fine. Okay, I'll ask this real quick before we head off any further. East Coast, West Coast bias. Agree that it genuinely exists, or it's a myth?
Among fans, or I think it certainly exists with television networks, by far. I think the most hardcore of the hardcore fans going to stay up and watch the Golden State Warriors on the West Coast, or they're going to watch the, of course, in the time slots, the 4:25 Eastern NFL games, but among fans, yes. But I mean, really, to me, in the last decade, I've seen it more with coverage from TV stations. There's definitely an East Coast, West Coast bias.
See, and that's where I'm going to throw this one out there, is like we try to avoid that so-called, that sling and that arrow being thrown in our direction due to the fact that, okay, now it's really easier for us a lot of the times because on social media, there's a lot of people that I follow through all the accounts on all the way across the lower 48, and I'll even mention Alaska and Hawaii, because we've had guests come on from, I would say, 35 different states. And here's the part that's gonna tick me off. I did a scroll down for about 20 minutes this morning down Facebook. This is the second Saturday of the month, and you would think that I would see poster after poster after poster for shows that are taking place tonight. Nope. I saw 2 posters for shows that are taking place next weekend. I saw 1 poster for a show that's taking place tomorrow. Matter of fact, AWE. There are times when, and like I said, we've had people on from the West Coast before. There's been a number of promoters from the West Coast that are from the Western United States that I've invited to come on the show. Case point, some of them have come on, some of them have not come on. Dave Marquez, you still owe me one. I'll hear about that later. But no, in all seriousness, that's why we try to avoid that East Coast, West Coast thing. But of course, on this show, we go at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, which is still 8 a.m. out west. So you've got some people that are just now waking up. And that's including people in the pro wrestling and mixed martial arts industry. So we're going to leave it at that. So yeah, we do try to get rid of that. We do try to dispel the myth about the East Coast, West Coast bias, because it's in a lot of ways, it's prevalent in the media more so than anything else. And of course, we all know, thank you to the media, so many different things go round and round and round. Damn. Anything else you'd like to throw out there?
No, I'm good. The floor is yours, sir.
Okie dokie. Real quick, live programming will resume tomorrow, January the 10th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Central, Beyond Ringside Live. Yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman, going to be joined by Gene Jackson. Upcoming live event on the horizon where Mr. Jackson and Mabo are going to be working it together. Looking forward to hearing a little bit more about this tomorrow. Check it out on Beyond Ringside Live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. Wrestle Rage Radio with Smart Rage and Stan, and I believe they both might be back behind the microphone at the same time tomorrow. You just never know. And Shane, you've already hinted at the fact that you're going to be popping in tomorrow night on Wrestle Rage.
Yeah, I accept the invite from Corey last night in Barnesville, Georgia, so I'd be delighted to call in and have some fun with you, sir.
And, of course, at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central, it's the brand new edition of the Midnight Black Mass, starring the Reverend Dan Wilson and Andrew Alexander. Back to Basics returns this coming Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, and of course, the To Be Determined show live Wednesdays, 10 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Yeah, for the West Coast, there's your bias. Go uncensored while still just kicking off your primetime hours. Yeah. Gotta love it when that happens. We don't tape delay either. What happens, happens. Until it gets to post-production. I'm going to leave it at that. At Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live, as well as Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside. We are on LinkedIn and Google Plus as well. To everybody once again listening live, thank you through all the different methodologies. And on the replay side of life, of course, don't forget you can find us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, Podomatic, and definitely check out the media page at BeyondRingside.com. Also on Downcast as well. I forgot about that one. I keep forgetting. And when we sign off, we kick it back into Drive where you can catch the most recent episodes of all the shows here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network, the Beyond Ringside family of shows. Going to take it to the Radio Ranch. Thank you again to everybody who popped out last night. Had a great night at Buffalo Wild Wings Alabaster. Friday nights, 9 p.m. at the Promenade Shopping Center. And Shane, one more time, throw it out there for useless trivia.
Useless trivia this week. No trivia on Monday due to the national title game. No bias there. Everyone can watch it. Alabama and Clemson Monday night. So trivia will be Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time. I said 7 earlier. My apologies. 8 o'clock Central Time Loco Mex Mexican Cuisine in Jacksonville, Alabama. The following night, Wednesday, Mellow Mushroom, tremendous food there, 7 o'clock.
I'm going to have to make it up there sometime. That's all I'm going to say. Of course, one day I'm going to get you down to Buffalo Wild Wings in Alabaster, too.
That'll work. Love to.
Cosper, hope you're having a great weekend, brother. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and no, it's not Super Train. This ain't the 70s anymore. There's your flashback reference for the day. And I'll still go ahead and throw out, yes, Marianne. Ginger's cool, but Marianne rocked. For Shane Noles.
Have yourselves a great weekend, and thank you for supporting Beyond Ringside.
I am the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Eddie Layne saying until next time, for the first time this year, adios, das vidania, hasta luego, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, sayonara, adieu, arrivederci, farewell, abacina, au revoir, until we meet again, aloha means roll tide. Join us next time. And aloha means bye-bye, and I'll still say roll tide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, win, lose, or draw, roll tide. My best to both teams Monday night. I'm hoping for a great game. I really am. And like I said, I think this one could come down to the final seconds of the game. Join us right here next time as we all go Beyond Ringside. Going to put it back in the locker and put the shells on the different shelf, because for right now, the Shooter's Gallery is now closed. Bye for now.